Hello. I don't know why I said that so fucking loudly. It was very strange. Today we're discussing this idea of EU and NA merging. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but I heard about it 2 days ago and I just near about wanted to throw up in my mouth because it's the most absurd idea that I've heard in a good minute. And believe me, I hear dumb ideas all the time. Now on paper, this is not a horrible idea because, you know, EU's player base is struggle tier as fuck, but we don't really talk about that around here. To be fair, we actually will be discussing it, but that's besides the point. Now this idea came from a deranged sorceress player, and only a deranged sorc player would think that this would solve any kind of fucking issues. But let me just dispute these ideas because there are bigger issues that we need to discuss over a fucking shitty merge from EU to NA. First, let's see what's wrong with EU. Now, when I stream, I usually stream at hours that EU players are very active, and I get a lot of EU players in my chat, and we have this conversation legitimately almost every fucking day that I stream. From what I understand, there are essentially two relevant guilds on EU. Boz Deep in Main. Main essentially sits on Calpheon 24/7 on the siege scene, and they don't move from it because they monopolize Star's End and really just grind distos all fucking day and just force the prices to be what they are. And that is just how it works. Anybody that goes to Star's End usually gets griefed by Main. And it's also a massive war zone. So Boz Deep and Main, whenever they pull up on each other, it usually turns into just an absolute just dumpster fest of garbage where everyone is just fighting for hours and hours and hours, and then nobody really grinds. With that being said, the other issue is that there is a player base issue. There's not enough guilds or players to challenge Main in any way, shape, or form. Main's average gear score is like 660, which is relatively high. That's basically hard capped for console. I think 680 is basically the hard cap. And usually if you're going to try and oppose somebody that's really hard capped, you're gonna have to bring numbers to overwhelm them. And at the moment, EU doesn't have the numbers game. They just don't. With only one other relevant guild, it's pretty shit. Now, a lot of people would put the blame on Main. It's like, well, Main keeps killing the game. All they're doing is just beating up players and just forcing people to quit because it's not fun. That's not how it works. BDO, at the end of the day, is a PvP game. And that is how it always has been, and that's how it will always be until the devs stray further and further from their initial idea, which they've already shown signs of doing. So who knows? Maybe next year we'll have the Minecraft update where everyone just fucking does nothing. Now, there's more PvP in fucking Minecraft than there is in this game. Anyway, let's move over to the NA side of things. Now on NA, there's a larger issue at hand here. One, we actually have numbers. We actually have a player base. It may not be the biggest player base, but we actually have a relatively decently sized player base where we can actually do things. Now, where the problem comes into play is that there are two alliances. There's the Flow Alliance and there's the Sacred Alliance. These two alliances genuinely hate each other just about as much as Boz Deep and Main hate each other. I don't know the specifics behind where this beef came from. I don't really even care about it. I don't care what kind of beef it is. I don't even give a fuck. Medium rare, it fucking is over rare, super rare. I don't give a fuck. Fuck beef. Just kidding. I actually love beef. Beef is fucking sick, dude. Not as sick as pork, though. I don't know where this conversation's fucking going, dude. I'm drunk. Anyway, there are these two alliances, right? And here's the issue that the developers lacked the foresight to even remotely see, even though I saw this coming from like actually miles away, is that alliances are going to form in order to just guarantee castles. And that is exactly what NA has done. We have monopolized the castles. Sacred at the moment has two castles. We're sitting on Valencia and Calpheon, and then Flow is sitting on Medaya. Now, these rotate usually on a regular basis because nobody really cares. As long as somebody has a castle to rotate to, that's pretty much what it is. And it doesn't make an actual difference on who owns what castle. As long as Sacred has fucking Calpheon, they don't give a fuck about who owns Medaya or Valencia. The only reason we have two castles right now is because we have larger numbers. We have the bigger alliance, therefore we can drop more forts down and just pretty much zerg Medaya and Valencia to the point where we just guarantee the win. Pretty lame, in all honesty. It's really lame because there's not really ever good fights. There's only, like, whenever I get zerged, that's when I'm excited because I'm basically playing COD Zombies. I love it when I get fucking zerged because I frag. I get actual frags, dude. I turn into a goddamn animal. So every time I go to Siege, I pray that there is going to be a flow zerg. I genuinely pray for it because then I get clips, I get frags. It just becomes this super fun thing that I enjoy because there's actual fighting going on. I love it when we're the underdogs, except for when we're getting paid. If we're supposed to get paid, then I fucking hate it. But when I'm not getting paid, I love fighting because then it actually turns into a really fun experience because there's actually something being done. But you see what I said there? I only love it when it's not my turn to get paid. That is an issue. I should love it regardless because it's a part of the game and it's something that I signed up for. And yet I've grown accustomed to getting 2 billion every single time that it's my turn. And when that gets taken away from me, I get frustrated by it. And I shouldn't, because it is supposed to be that way. It is supposed to be an actual fight for that 2 billion. And yet we don't do that. It's a fucking problem and it's shitty. Now let's entertain this idea from EU merging to NA or vice versa or whatever the fuck. Here's 3 situations that are gonna possibly happen, and 2 of them are complete pipe dreams and 1 is the most feasible option. The first pipe dream is that EU merges to NA, and what happens is they become the ultimate guild when Main just takes out Sacred, takes out Flow, and just sits on Castle all day, and then Flow and Sacred roll over and just say, oh my god, Main is so strong, I'm not gonna fight him, fuck that. Yeah, that's not happening. That's not gonna fucking happen. The second pipe dream that's gonna happen is that EU joins over to NA, right? And then they form their own alliance with their EU partners, and then boom, bam, bing, bow. They become the ultimate Justice League where they have the best guild in the fucking game. That's not gonna happen because EU has their own assortment of beef that they have to fucking deal with. And that's just not gonna be feasible because they legitimately hate each other just as much as fucking NA's guilds hate each other. It's just not feasible. It's genuinely not feasible. And then the only other option that is probably going to happen is that Boz Deep and Main join one of the alliances. And honestly, whichever one joins, it doesn't matter. The one that matters is that which one joins or which alliance gets Main. That's the one that really matters. I shit you not. If they merged EU with NA, I 1000% promise you one of the leaders in either of the alliances are going to offer Main literal money to come to their alliance and actually pay them. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. I'm so serious. Listen, I don't want to be that guy and rat people out, and I'm not going to, but I know people in this game that drop money and pay people money to join their guilds. This is not something that is uncommon or doesn't happen. This happens very often. There are legitimately people on NA that pay people to join their guilds, to merc for them, or to do things. And there is a 1000% possibility that one of the leaders from one of the alliances, because both alliances both have people that have respectable amounts of money, believe it or not. And I can promise you that they would legitimately offer a large sum of money to Main to come to one of the alliances. And even if that didn't happen, it still comes down to the point of which alliance does Main choose, because whichever one Main chooses becomes the ultimate alliance and the other one has 0 chance to win at any given time. It's just what it is. So having the EU merge to NA would only cause more issues, and we haven't even discussed the fact that the game doesn't function properly. So I mean, let's be realistic. This is a horrible idea. It's only going to cause problems. It's only going to cause a lot of just ridiculous issues. And keep in mind, EU's player base is just as toxic as NA's. I really don't want to have 2 toxic player bases just on top of each other, creating more and more issues. This whole idea is from a selfish mindset of just wanting to just fix the game from a perspective of not understanding how to fix the game. In order to make BDO somewhat playable and somewhat good, and even to entertain a merge like this, you would have to do so many other things like fix the server lag issues, fix the FPS issues, optimize, stabilize, etc. BDO has been doing really good at least stabilizing the game to where crashes are less and less, but the optimization is still lacking in a lot of areas. Not to mention the lack of content as well. It is just down bad. We are down bad on console, straight the fuck up, and that's the reality of it. Merging EU to NA is such a fucking pipe dream. I don't even know why this is even a conversation. It's absolutely ridiculous and shouldn't be a conversation at all. And I hope to God that it just genuinely it evaporates into just the memories of a delusional Sork player, dude. Like I said, this is absolutely absurd. Anyway, that's going to be it for the video. I really don't want to talk about it anymore because if I hear that the developers are considering this, I'm probably going to quit, because that just tells me that they are not hearing us. If they do an EU to NA merge, that just means that they are not paying attention to what we are actually asking for in the game. Okay? Just know that. Just know that if this happens, the developers genuinely are not paying attention to you. Just remember that. If this happens, know that they have not listened to your cries for content, or that they haven't heard your pleas to fix the game's FPS issues and stabilization issues, okay? Just know that if this happens, the game is actually fucking awful and I will quit. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Oh, I'm an island boy, just trying to make it. Oh, I'm an island boy, I'm a just island boy. I'ma get killed when you gon' wanna keep that gun. I'ma be staring at the sun, just staring at the sun. Now I'm full gazing, I'm like the pools where I'm staying. Where you wanna be famous, but I just wanna be out with the greatest. Yeah, I'm an island boy, just trying to make it. I'm a just island boy, I'm an island